This post says my reaction to Mamdani supporters when their rent goes up because of higher property taxes. One more time. Man, that's a I told you so, post right there, man. I was dying laughing when I first seen this. But, we laugh, but that reaction definitely hits different when it's your lease renewal email. I'm just saying. Because one thing New Yorkers are starting to learn the hard way, when the government costs go up, landlords don't eat that. Renters do. Y'all thought I was going to say something goes down. I say, you thought. And while people are adjusting to that reality, guess what city leadership is doing? They're expanding something totally different.
Hola.
Mi español no es el mejor.
No te preocupes, alcalde. Si su hijo o hija está cumpliendo 3 o 4 años en el 2026, usted puede registrarlos gratis en el programa Kinder 3 o Prekinder de la ciudad de Nueva York. Pero debe registrarse el 27 de febrero, que es la fecha límite. Cualquier padre de la familia de la ciudad de Nueva York, sin importar su ocupación, ingreso o estatus migratorio, es elegible para registrar a sus hijos.
Thank God that's over. Anybody who is following along to the captions, free childcare sounds great on paper, right? It does, until you realize nothing is actually free. Nothing is actually free. Somebody is funding it for sure. And right now in New York, that somebody is the same taxpayers already watching the cost of living go up. That thing is rising. But wait, there's more. Because the message wasn't just we're expanding programs. It was everyone qualifies. But here's the key phrase after that. Everyone qualifies no matter what.
2 communist grifters walk into a government office. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of translation for y'all since, well, I'm going to need it for myself. So let's see what we got here.
Hola.
Hello.
Mi español
My Spanish is a little rusty.
No te preocupes.
Don't worry, Mayor.
Si su hijo o hija
If your
está
child is
cumpliendo
turning
3 o 4 años
3
en
or 4
2026,
in 2026, you can enroll them in free 3K
K
or pre-K in New York City. Okay, well, but you must apply by February 27, which is the deadline. Any New York City parent, regardless of your occupation, okay, income or, I'm sorry, that's what we stop right there. Yeah, immigration status. All right, so let me get this straight. New York is in a multi-billion-dollar deficit, right? Zoran is pushing for higher property tax as well as general taxation, but they've got money to give to people's kids who ain't supposed to be there in the first place. This is the Democratic Party in 2026.
Yes, it is. Now, let me take myself off of this screen and put myself on this one. How you doing? I'm going to pause real quick because this isn't just about childcare. This is quite literally about priorities. When leadership is laser focused on expanding benefits, but everyday systems are starting to crack, people going to notice that. How could you not? And nowhere is that contrast clear. Nowhere is it clearer than how the city is handling basic order.
So, this is obviously a little problematic for Mayor Mamdani, given the Democrat stance that it would be, so atrocious for you guys to pass the SAVE Act and have people actually have to show ID to vote.
Yeah. Well, I don't know the mayor. He seems like a nice enough guy, but he must think there's an award for being stupid. I mean, the American people look at this stuff, and they're aghast. You're going to require somebody to show not one form, but 2 forms of ID in order to shovel snow, but not to vote. I mean, it's a silly dispute. Everybody has ID. Everybody could get ID. I can tell you the way my people back in Louisiana feel about it. They feel about it they tell me, if you can't figure out how to get an ID, you probably shouldn't be voting.
So
2 forms of ID to shovel snow. But ID to vote? That's controversial. Man, it just sucks the lengths that these people will go to. And this is where confusion begins turning into frustration. Because now the standards feel selective. They always have. But they're strict in some places, relaxed in others. And for whatever reason, nobody seems to understand why. If you ask me, that's what he get. It says, breaking, NYPD arrests a man after officers were attacked with snowballs in Washington Square Park. Guzman, how you say that? Kalabali? Y'all know I'm dyslexic. It is what it is. He's 27 and he is charged with assault on a police officer. They put officer. Officer. Obstructing government administration and disorderly conduct. Now that's not policy theory right there at all, y'all. That's officers getting hit. That's quite literally escalation. There's real world consequences that we're seeing right here. Some real FAFO. Good phone. So naturally, you would expect clarity from leadership. But instead,
NYPD making an arrest in Monday's Snowball attack on police in Washington Square Park. The 27-year-old Guzman Kolabali is under arrest for his role in Monday's attack that left 2 New York police officers injured. Kolabali is no stranger to police. He was arrested just a few weeks ago for an attempted robbery in the transit system. You'll remember this is how Mayor Mamdani described Monday's incident.
I can just tell you from the video I saw, it looked like kids at a snowball fight.
Wow. Wow.
The governor of New York was asked about Monday's attack and said this.
Our police officers put themselves in harm's way every single day. And
NYPD making an arrest.
Wow. They basically used the paid in full line. N-words die every day, B. It's basically what they was trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, minus the end part, but it's just kids playing. Except the person arrested was 27. And the officers were injured. And once people see that kind of disconnect, they start looking harder at everything else. Like how taxpayer money is being used.
Yo, how much I get paid for this? 45 an hour? Yo, how much I get paid for this?
I ain't gonna lie. Admittedly, I let that loop just so I can hit a beat again. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, these leftists be having some. Can you argue? Look, we got to get a Democrat some credit now. They know how to make some good music. It may not be, the lyrics may be off, but the harmonies be on point. Minus the crying and screaming, I'll say that. But nah, man. 16 people, one pal that I'm seeing from this post. And they're making $45 an hour. On its own, maybe just inefficiency, but stacked on top of higher costs, expanding programs, and soft responses to, disorder, it starts feeling like a pattern. And that's the real story here, if I'm being honest. Not one viral clip, not one policy, but the accumulation of it all. Where spending grows, standards blur, accountability it feels optional until the people paying for it all start asking, is this sustainable? Yeah, a little bit. Or are we watching the system slowly drift away from the people it's supposed to serve? Pattern or coincidence? Dang, I should I should have used pattern for the N word. Well, the end word, not the N word. Yeah. All right, hold on. What can I use as an N word? I can't unhear it now. Let's put $45 an hour. Yeah, that's just crazy. You know, this alone is costing taxpayers $720 an hour. That's what that post says right there. That's insane. It's a short video, y'all. I'm over here trying to stretch it to 11 minutes. I'm gonna be real. That's why I love y'all. I ain't gonna do it too much. I ain't gonna sit here and add all this fluff to it. But New York City, man, y'all got some ha-has and FAFOs coming y'all way outside of the ones that we just displayed here. But y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. I didn't make it. I made it 10 seconds until 11 minutes though. Peace.